Hey guys, Andy here from Mediocre Hobbies, bringing you a very special video. A company called Ortur recently reached out to me and asked me would I be interested in trying out their beautiful new laser engraver machine. So they very kindly sent me over their new Laser Master 3 machine. It's the first time I've ever worked with a piece of equipment like this. Although I have been working with MDF terrain and scenery for quite a while now, so I was very excited to try out the actual piece of technology that creates those amazing kits. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on today's video. So sit back, enjoy it, hopefully learn a little bit more about what laser cutters can do for you in this hobby. When I first received the package which contained the laser printer, I did get a little bit daunted. I was a little bit afraid. It required some assembly, a little bit more assembly than I was expecting, as goes, cabling, putting on the pulley straps and stuff. I got a little bit nervous, but it was actually super easy to do, and I had absolutely no problems assembling it. Just like the assembling side of it, when I turned the machine on for the first time, I did get a little bit daunted by the prospect of learning how to use an entire piece of machine. It's exactly the same way I felt the first time I turned on my first 3D printer. I was super nervous that I was going to make a bunch of mistakes, but it wasn't really the case. You can either attach the laser printer through an app on your phone, Bluetooth the whole thing straight to your phone and control it from there, or just plug it straight in using a USB to micro USB connection for your computer, and I just run it straight from a program like Lightburn. So getting it up and running was absolutely no problem whatsoever. It also doesn't give off any kind of crazy fumes like 3D printer does, although it does give the smell of burning wood, and of course you are literally burning wood. So I would recommend using it in a well ventilated place, having your windows open, and like me, having a candle lit as well, in case you don't like that smell of burnt wood. I actually do quite like the smell of burnt wood, but anyway. Yeah, they give you all the necessary safety equipment, goggles and the like, and yeah, I found it I'm much more relaxed using the machine now than I was the first time I turned it on. So hopefully you guys will feel the same if you ever decide to pick one up yourselves. All the files that I used for this video were either free or designed by myself. I've only had to play around with this machine for maybe 2 weeks, so the little bit that I've had to glimpse into so far has been very, very exciting, but I am super excited to move forward and learn more about the Laser Master 3 and what I think it can do for us in this hobby. If you ask me honestly, do I think that the Laser Master 3 is something that belongs in the hands of every individual hobbyist? I'm not really sure if I can give you a confident answer on that. Do I, however, think that people who run tournaments, do I think people who have big gaming groups could make use of one of these machines as a collective? The answer is absolutely yes. There's a million uses for this, whether it's making gauges or whether it's making scenery or whether it's doing any other bits and pieces like that, which I think will be fantastic for those kinds of groups. Like I said, for me as a content creator, things like the gauges and stuff I'm going to be using in my battle reports. So now I have a bunch of funky rulers with my logo on it, the distance, the measurement distance on it, all the different tokens, and other small gubbins which are just super useful. Like I said, with having a machine like this at your disposal, it means that, for instance, if you start a Votan army and you want to use custom grudge tokens, things like that, you can very quickly jump onto a program like Lightburn, create custom grudge tokens that suit you a little bit better than the cardboard ones you get with the codex, cut them out in a matter of minutes, and there you have them. Quick, easy, affordable, and very cool. People will be asking you where you got them, and when you tell them you've done it at your own home, it'll be quite surprising, I think. For me as well, who's also a content creator and who in the new year will be setting up my own merchandise store, being able to 3D cut out and print my own gauges and stuff that I can sell or maybe add into existing orders means that this machine is an absolute no-brainer for me. I have also been stuck on several occasions without the correct base for some of the miniature projects that I've done. So the capabilities now that I can just cut out a base size that I need on the fly is absolutely amazing. For instance, with the new Astra Militarum units, the new weapon teams are on size 100mm bases, which I didn't have a lot of spare of. But give me 5 minutes in the laser program and I could all of a sudden print out a perfect size base. I've seen MDF bases on websites before. They're not too expensive, but you know, obviously this entire sheet, like I said, cost about €1. Especially bases like the new 28mm size base, which Games Workshop actually doesn't sell as separate pieces just yet. So if you lose one or you need more of them for a conversion project or something like that, it's actually kind of difficult to get your hands on until now. After the initial cost of the machine, everything after that is actually really cheap. I personally did all of the tests for this video with a single pack of A4 boards, 3mm MDF, 10 sheets from Amazon for about €12. I dare you to find any other piece of scenery that you can produce so much of for such a little cost. Some of the bits and pieces that I covered in my video are things like the fantasy well. This was a beautiful free file that I managed to cut out on, I don't know, half an A4 sheet. Therefore, you could put 2 of these pieces on a single sheet of wood, and I'd say each sheet of wood maybe costs you €1. So having a piece of fantasy or D&D scenery for 50 cents. Can you find anywhere cheaper, anywhere online, a nice, cool cinematic well for 50 cents? This one, of course, requires glue to assemble, and I will be adding some paint to it, but I wanted to show it to you guys in the kind of natural state of just the wood before I go away and do anything with it. But this is of course going to be used in lots of Age of Sigmar games. I already have a full city table, town table for Age of Sigmar, so this will sit pride of place in the middle of that for the foreseeable future. Games like Necromunda, for instance, are a game system that is quite dense and requires many pieces of expensive scenery to get a really cool looking table that gives you that feel of Necromunda. Well, I've already been learning a little bit about how to print off the different walkways and boards, which obviously are going to save me a lot of time, money and effort getting these things all cut out and printed up. And I'm very excited to see what an entire table of those boards looks like, but also the scenery pieces themselves. As you know, I've cut out the kind of meat pie shop, which is going to be a fundamental piece of my Necromunda terrain moving forward. This is another free file that I found on Cults 3D. And as you can see, it says meat pie shop on the back, but it has a dead cat retrieval at the door at the back. So maybe it's best not to ask questions about where the meat comes from in pieces like this. This one actually requires no glue. After you've laser cutted this out, you pull all the pieces out and literally slap it together, solid as anything. I had to print out 2 of these things. As while I was in the learning process, I didn't realize that I didn't engrave the print lines in this as deep as I would have liked. So as you can see the difference between the 2 pieces, all the detail on this is very much more pronounced on the pie shop versus the one that isn't. But it also allowed me to realize that some designers of these things make them quite clever. There's actually holes already set inside of these, so if you want to stack buildings like this on top of each other, you get an absolutely stunning result. So that can give you that height that Necromunda scenery sometimes demands from us. Okay guys, and there we have it, the Laser Master 3 in all its glory, or what I'd like to think is all its glory. I'm sure some amazing creators who know how to use these pieces of technology a little bit better than I will do even better jobs showing you how cool they are. It is something that I'm absolutely delighted to have in my arsenal of equipment now, and I think me and my friend group will make absolute amazing use of it for all sorts of bits and pieces moving forward. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a like. If for some crazy reason you're not already subscribed to my channel, it would mean the world to me if you took 2 seconds out of your day and hit that subscribe button. If you have any questions about the machine or what it can do or anything else like that, make sure you put it in the comments below and I will do my very best to answer each and every one of you guys. And if you like what I do and want to support me even further, there's links to things like my Patreon campaign below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.